Hey guys, happy Mardi Gras Fat Tuesday. I hope you guys are all doing fantastic. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Me and Steve are fighting today. I'll get into that later. I want to say welcome to all the new subscribers, and welcome back to everybody that has been subscribed for a while. Just a little intro for the new people. I'm Christy, and I live on 25 acres in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. I have 12 dogs, and we raise chickens, and I rescued a bantam rooster, which is like a miniature chicken. He got beat up, and I nursed him back to health, but he lost his feet. So he lives in the house now, and his name is Steve. And you can hear him chiming in the back. And like I said, we're in a fight today. I think his YouTube fame is going to his head. I don't know if you can see, but when I was feeding him, he pecked me and I was not happy about it. So Steve is on the naughty list today. I'm going to talk today about Nicola Bulley again. And I was thinking about it last night, and I'm just, I still feel like something's off, right? And it kind of brought me back to the Kiely Rodni. And there's some obvious things that are similar, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized there's really a lot similar with these two cases, Nicola could almost be Kiely Rodni 2.0, in my opinion. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to say that I've had my mom on my mind today. For those of you that are new here, both of my parents have passed away. My dad was 12 years ago. It'll be 13 this year. And my mom, it will be 5 years this year. And losing my dad was horrible, probably the worst thing I ever went through. But losing my mom, she was my best friend, and that hit different. It was so hard. And you'll see this necklace is my mom's fingerprint, and I wear it all the time. And I also wear my dad's dog tags right next to my heart. And she was really on my mind today. I don't know why. Sometimes she just is. And I'm using to drink my tea today this mug. It's got the Footprints verse on it, which was her favorite. And it really hit me that it was so hard to lose my mom, who lived a good, full, long life. Not long enough for me, obviously, because it's never a good time to lose a loved one, right? But her and my dad died from illnesses that they came with their age. And I started thinking about Nicola's little girls, and my heart was already broken for those little girls. But to think what I went through, and then to think at their age how difficult it must be. And I would like to think that someday they will have an answer to what happened to their mom. Their ages now, they may not really be able to comprehend, but at some point in their life, they deserve to know why their mom isn't here anymore. Whether that be accident, or she just couldn't deal anymore, or something else. It It's an answer that they deserve, as well as the rest of her family. But my heart's really with the girls. And I am not here in judgment of anyone. If you've been with me for a while, especially with Kiely Rodni, I have discussed grief a lot. Everyone grieves differently. We all react to any given situation in our lives. We're all going to have a different reaction, a different response. No two people are going to react the same way to the same thing. You may have a similar reaction as someone else, but we all deal with things in our own way. And you know that I'm all about giving people grace, especially in times like this. You know, I've told you before that my grief process was wicked. I mean, you know, I was lashing out at people that didn't deserve it. I was so angry and things like that. Grief makes you act in ways that you might normally not act. So I'm not here to place judgment on anyone in Nicola's life, whether it be Paul, her friend, any of that. I found the family statement a bit odd, that it seemed like it was so focused on the media rather than Nicola. But like I said, I give them grace in this time of grief and understand that I'm sure when you're trying to deal with something like that, having that outside pressure from the media is overwhelming, and that would be front of mind for them, if you will. So I get that. I understand. And with the media and social media, sometimes we let in the good, and with the good comes some bad. I like to think that there are more good-intentioned people out there than bad-intentioned people out there, but there's always going to be a few creators, a few networks, a few media outlets that aren't necessarily in it for the right reasons. So with that being said, sorry, that was a very long intro. I want to get into it today, and I'm coming from a good place. I'm coming from a respectful place. I don't feel that having questions is disrespectful to her family in any way. Excuse me, I'm not going to point fingers and, you know, specifically name names and say this person did this or this person was involved, because I don't know. I know things that look off, that look odd, that, you know, maybe that's their norm. Maybe it's not off. Maybe it's not odd. But there are definitely things that come across that way. I think we can all agree on that. And that's another thing about my channel. You don't have to agree with me. I don't expect you to always agree with me. I think us not always agreeing on things is good, and it's healthy. And sometimes when you have a different viewpoint and you send me an email or you leave me a comment, it helps me look at things in a different way. So you don't have to be a yes person. You don't have to absolutely buy everything I'm saying 100% to be a part of this channel community. So just know that, you know, we can all agree to disagree. We're all adults here. All I ask is that you keep it respectful in the comments. That's it. Everybody's allowed an opinion. Everybody's allowed an opinion. Okay. So there are some things, like I said, that are obvious, right? That kind of connect the two cases. And some of those, are basic, like they both involve the water. They both disappeared seemingly without any witnesses. The police said Nicola, they believe it was this 10-minute window that she was seen at 9:10 on the upper field, and then at 9:20 her phone is on the bench. So something happened in this 10-minute window. And in Kiely's case, nobody saw her leave. We had the friend saying she saw her before she left, and then supposedly Kiely called her, what have you, but nobody actually saw her leave. They didn't see her leave, they didn't see her car leave. So again, no witnesses. And both were missed when the police searched the water. Now, in Nicola's case, the professional, Peter Falding, did not find her. And in Kiely's case, Doug Bishop and Nick Wren did find her. They found Kiely. So that's one difference. But both cases, initially, the families wanted our help. In both cases, they invited us in to their story. They got us invested. We started to care. We wanted to help. And they were fine with that. They needed us. They wanted us to get the word out there, to spread the story, to keep it in the public eye. But then as soon as the person is found, the family turns on everyone that has been invested, that tried to help in some small way. Think about it. I'm in Oklahoma. This is in the UK. Now, I have family in the UK, but I'm not there. But I was trying to do my part to keep it out there on YouTube, to keep people up to date. Because all the way over here, we cared. We were invested. We wanted Nicola reunited with her girls. But when they were found, you remember Kiely's mom, she had nothing good to say about the media, social media, the people that found her daughter, none of it. And more or less told us, just back off. We don't need you anymore. And it feels similar with Nicola. Now, like I said, I understand that with the good comes the bad. And what that family is dealing with right now, the last thing they need is the bad. The people that are causing problems. And in every case, it happens. There's citizens, YouTubers, media that they're more hurtful than helpful. They kind of interfere with the investigation. They stir up drama, things like that. But how is it fair that after you wanted us to help and you wanted us to be invested and we started to care, that as soon as she's found, we're supposed to just shut our mouths and go away? We're not allowed to ask questions. Nothing. Now, I don't agree with people, invading their privacy. They need that time to grieve as a family. Nobody should be intrusive about it. But how is having questions disrespectful? How is wanting just to know disrespectful? For 23 days, we all thought about this. We all just wanted to do something. We thought about it. We prayed about it. We were sending all the good vibes, whatever. Just hoping for a reunion of Nicola and her family. But now they want us to go away. They don't want any questions. And it's very different than like a Gabby Petito type situation where the parents, they kept on, they were like, yes, keep pushing for answers. They brought us in, but they didn't dismiss us. And social media was a huge part in the Gabby Petito case and finding her. Social media is what brought Doug Bishop and Nick Wren to find Kiely Rodni. And this, again, was a citizen, a medium that found Nicola, not law enforcement. They heard about the case in the media, right? And now Nicola's been brought home. How is that a bad thing? I don't think it is. But that's just me. So I found this morning, I'm going to play this clip for you. And, yesterday when I posted my video, I kind of thought I was going to get a lot of heat because most of the creators are just, following the narrative or whatever and not really asking questions. But I still had questions, and that's why I brought it to you, because I wanted to discuss it and kind of see where everybody else was at. And if y'all didn't have questions, then maybe you could answer some of mine. But there are a lot more of us out there that are thinking the same way, that have the same questions, that have that same something's off here kind of feeling. We're not alone. We're not alone. And I feel like we're allowed to feel this way. But let's watch this clip really quick, and then we will come back and talk about it.
It seems to have gone wrong on so many different levels. And yesterday, in this final bizarre twist, her body was not found by the police, but by a man who describes himself as a spiritual medium from Greater Manchester.
Yeah, the police. It is so complicated. And rivers, tidal rivers, difficult to see. So there's all kinds of potential problems in the searching that went on. But it does seem quite incredible that the main police search was 5 miles away from where the body was found. And in the photo in most of the papers today of the stretch of river where the body was found, there's this clear obstacle on a corner of the river, which the local angling club has said they've often found sort of heavy items, tyres and such washed up there. And despite the searching by this guy, Faulding and all his high-tech kit, they missed it, and, that these things happen. What I'm more concerned about is that some of the behaviours of the police, some of the details about Nicola's life that were released to the press, to the public, I'm not sure it was in her best interest or anybody's best interest. And then I'm reading today from a police and crime commissioner his concerns that Lancashire police were being offered help by police forces all around the country, including the Met, to help expedite the search for Nicola. And they, by all accounts, they refused. So 23 days of emotional torment for the family.
Which explains why the statement is full of, obviously, sadness, heartache, but also anger. It's a two-part statement. There is expressing their undying love for the mother they've lost, but also anger at social media, at the public, some of the public, and at some of the press and media as well. And it's a very difficult situation because the story was of interest to the public. It was of public interest, and therefore the news media felt they had to report it.
Why would they refuse help? I would think you would want all the help that was offered to you, especially from other police agencies. This isn't just random people wanting to help. This is actual law enforcement agencies that, maybe they have more experience or better equipment or whatever. Just extra bodies in the search for Nicola would have been so helpful. Why did they refuse? And a lot of people, were telling me, like, you just don't understand this river. And I said that in yesterday's video. I'm from Oklahoma. I know nothing about this river except for what I've read and seen. And in that clip, they basically addressed, which was one of my concerns, even the anglers have talked about the issues of the river there. Things getting hung up there. Heavy things getting hung up there. Their equipment getting hung up in that area. And when I look at this picture and I think about all the like hairpin turns and curves and things that she would have had to have maneuvered to get down to where she was found, it's still hard to add up. Like I said yesterday, absolutely possible. It's hard to wrap your mind around, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. But how? I mean, did they ever consider like putting in, something of similar weight into the water to see like how far down it would travel? Anything to kind of help guide them in their search? I don't think they did. And it still bothers me where she was found. And here's why. It's not the greatest picture, but this is a screen grab from a video that I think it's just called Nicola Bulley case on YouTube. I think he's local, and he was out there when they were recovering Nicola. And I had talked yesterday about how close that particular spot of the river was to the road and about that little wall there. Now, the picture where there's like an orange bag on the side there, that is them actually recovering her body. You can't see her body, it's in the bag, but just wanted to give you an idea. And if you look up, we have the cars are right there, pulled off the road. And you can see the wall comes up to about knee or a little bit higher on the people that are standing there. So not a huge obstacle for anyone, not a huge obstacle at all. And when I watched the video, it seemed they were struggling to get her up that embankment, which really kind of upset me the way they were handling her. To me, it wasn't the most respectful recovery. I'm sure it was heavy, but my thinking was if you were rescuing someone that was down there that had not passed away, how would you have done it? And why couldn't you treat Nicola with that same care? Again, that's just my opinion, but I really want you to see how close that location is to that road, and what are the chances? Very convenient, right? Of all the places that she would have had to have traveled in that river, she ends up in the one that is the closest spot to the road. The closest that the river comes to the road, that's where she was at. It's quite a coincidence. Quite a coincidence. Another kind of comparison, I guess you would say, is the police sort of build a narrative and they follow it and they push it, and then magically, when the person's found, it fits the narrative. Now, in Kiely's case, originally, they had us thinking abduction. You know, her family, her friends, everybody was like, there's no way that she would drive drunk. You know, there's no way somebody took her. She's gone. You know, kind of having you focus away from Prosser, away from the lake, right? Well, they searched the lake and they didn't find anything. And then Nick and Doug come and they do find her. Well, then all of a sudden, she was drunk and drove into the water. That's what we were told. But then the autopsy came out and she wasn't drunk. She had some alcohol in her system, which is a natural part of decomp. But the levels that she had, she wasn't drunk. But we are just to blindly accept the narrative and not ask any questions, even when we're faced with facts that don't make sense. Even when it's obvious that something's not right, we're supposed to just toe the line and not ask any questions. That's not who I am. You know, I need an explanation. In Nicola's case, from the beginning, they said no foul play. No foul play. She fell in the river. And to me, if she had fallen in the river there, I think they would have found her much sooner than 23 days. But let's just say, you know, that she fell in and immediately starts moving down the river. And somehow they missed her. I still have questions. But their narrative is she fell in the river. And then they released the information about her with the menopause and the alcohol and all of this, and kind of plant that seed in people's heads of, could she have done something to herself? Now, for me, I was like, maybe she just needed a break. And it's a weird way to go about it, but maybe she just left and she'll be back. But I feel like, just like with Kiely Rodni, now they had promised more press conferences and what have you that never came after the autopsy. We never got the California Highway Patrol investigation report of what they concluded happened, you know, with the car data and accident reconstruction and all of that. We have never heard about it. Probably never will. The family doesn't want it out there. I feel like with Nicola, we're going to end up hearing that this was either an accident or she did this to herself. It fits the narrative. It fits the narrative that the police have been putting out there. Now, it very well could have been an accident or she did it to herself. I'm not saying absolutely this was foul play. And in no way do I want it to be foul play. I mean, why would you ever hope that somebody was murdered? No. But I want the truth. Hold on a second. Sorry. But my fear is, in the Kiely Rodni case, the police were starting to get a lot of heat People were questioning everything, especially after she was found and they had missed her. We see that here with the Lancashire police. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. But you would think, instead of just going along and making whatever happened fit your narrative, that as law enforcement, it would be more important to find out if there was another party involved, who that person is, and get them off the street. You know, justice for the person that's no longer with us should be your priority. Now, to me, in the Kiely Rodni case, and I'm afraid this one's going to go that way too, are the police not really going to dig as much as they should dig for answers? Because if this is an accident or she did it to herself, it fits their narrative. It makes them look good. It makes them look like they didn't make mistakes. And it preserves their reputation that right now is a little in jeopardy. That's unfair to the public as a whole, her memory, and her family. And by the public as a whole, I mean, you would like to think if something happened to you and the police are brought in to investigate, that if somebody is responsible for what happened to you, the police are going to make it a priority to find out who did it and get them off the street and get justice for you and your family, right? But more and more with a lot of cases, especially when the police face questions and scrutiny, it feels like if we can make this fit the narrative, then we don't look so bad. You know, we can still save face if we can make this fit the narrative. And I hope I'm wrong. I completely want to be wrong. It's just a feeling I get. And I don't like to think that they would prioritize their reputation over justice for a potential victim. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? It makes you wonder. So that's really all I have as far as comparisons, but I am afraid this case is going to go the way of Kiely Rodni. That she's been found. They want all of us to just go away, and it's going to be swept under the rug, never to be spoken of again. And they're probably hoping for the next big thing to come along to distract us from what was going on in this case. And that makes me sad. It makes me sad. You know, I don't like to be negative, you know. I try to be optimistic. I try to be positive. But sometimes when you see things and you can see this case mirroring Kiely's in so many ways, you know, it's hard to stay hopeful. So let me know what you think is going to happen from this point on. How do you feel about the two cases? Do you think that it's going to go the same way? And how do you honestly feel about being drawn in? We need you. We need your help. We need you to get the word out there. She's found. Go away. You're of no use to me anymore. Quit talking about it. Don't think about it. Don't ask any questions. How does that make you feel? Because for me, I don't like it. I don't like it. You know, I mean, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. When it's over, right? eventually we stopped covering Kiely. We did, because nothing new was coming out. But like I said, having questions and wanting answers for her girls, how is that disrespectful? I'm not prying into her family. I'm not contacting them. I'm simply asking questions. If anything, I have more questions for the authorities than her family. How am I being disrespectful? I feel like it's a sign of respect that I was brought in, invested, and cared enough about this woman to want the truth. But that's just me. So, thank you all for spending part of your Fat Tuesday with me. If you're going out to celebrate, please be careful. Please be careful. Enjoy it, but be careful. Have fun. I hope you all have a fabulous day, evening, whatever. And as always, I will see you all in the next one.